Okay, now the next step in the basically then the rest of the exercises, I believe, at least in the next three, four, what we try to do is that now we are trying to go into sub processes of that high level VACD that we created. Remember that in VACD we had those different functions, and we said these are high level functions. For example, one of them was just sales. And sales is such a high level abstract process. Now, in the next steps, we want to create two levels of sub processes for them. Okay, so we want to go into more details of sales, and we want to connect those sub processes to sales. Not only we want to create an EPC of a business process for sales, we want to connect that to sales, meaning that when you go to VACD, when you see the sales there, next to sales, you see an icon that if you double click on it, it takes you into details of the sub processes for the sales. And then we want to go even one level into more details that within that process for sales, we want to actually create a sub process for three of the functions in there, and each of them will be addressed in the separate exercise as we continue that you need to create. Now, this is basically the exercise 9 is the first time that you are trying in the ARIS environment, you are trying to create an EPC. So basically you need to follow the EPC rules that you start with an event, and it's an always event function. And this has been explained here for you. So you need to read, and you need to make sure that you create that diagram. What I try to do in order not to take too much time as well, I'm going to show you that sales process, and then I'm going to explain a couple of the lines that have been explained there on this process in order to tell you how you can basically translate what have been written there in terms of an EPC process. Now, here it says the first step, create an EPC model called sales processes in this folder. What you need to do in this, basically in the sales processes group or sales processes folder, and then you need to model it according to this explanation here. So in order to create the model, let me show you what you need to do. Going back to that demo database. So here underneath core processes, I should have one folder. Again, you will have it when you get to this part, because you have completed the second exercise. You need to have something called sales. I'm sorry, sales processes. Let me rename it. Again, if you make a mistake, you can right click and click rename, and it allows you to edit the names. So sales process, let's assume we have this here, and then we have other things as well. Now, if you want to create an EPC inside this folder, again, similar to the other one, right click, new model, and what you need is EPC. Again, find the type of the model, EPC here. There you go. And then give it the name that you want to give it, sales processes. So sales process. So it has the same name as the folder, and it doesn't matter because this is the EPC model, it's a separate thing. It gives you, similar to the other one, it gives you to the environment for creating EPC. Now these are the attributes, icons that you can use for creating EPC: event, function, those, and rule, XOR and OR rules, and so on, so for organization, whatever you need in order to create it. Now, if you start doing it following this explanation, what you should create is something similar to this one that you see here. So I'm going to just go into a couple of these in order to mention how you need to translate this. So it says that a customer contact exists already, so create this event to start the model. It's easy. Create an event, call it customer contact exists. Just click, and then write down customer contact exists. Okay. And then it's a similar thing. Whenever you click that, when you read that, if when you created that, if you go over it, ARIS makes it easy for you. And it tells you, see, it doesn't give you the option of creating an event coming out from an event, because there should always be event function. So basically the only option you see here is creating either a function or put one of these logical rules. So basically now this makes it easier. This avoid the mistake. So then when you are done, you can create the next function, and then you can say whether the event activates or the function creates the event, which one, basically you're telling the system whether the event goes into the function, the direction is from event to function, the direction of arrow, or the direction of arrow is from function to event. So basically that's what you're telling the system. And then you create, for example, the function there, okay? And then you put the function, and now if you go over it, it gives you the option of function or event and so on and so forth. Now, so the first event has been created right here, and this is how you create the function. Let me delete this because I don't need them. I have it here. And then it tells the second line. So now, so far we only have the event. Now it says that the process customer contact function is initiated by this existing customer contact. So basically means that this customer contact exists, initiate a function which is called process customer contact. And the name, see, process customer contact, this is where I'm getting the name. I'm not creating this name. This is where I get the process customer contact. So it means that the function should follow the event called process customer contact. Now the next thing, it says that if the customer has shown an interest in the product or service as a part of the customer contact process, a customer inquiry defined event should take place. So basically, this is one of them. See, we have if. So this is one of the conditions. If they have an interest, we have an event called customer inquiry defined event, which triggers a process after that, which is called process customer inquiry function. Also a customer contact not successful event, that's the name of an event, should be added as an alternative outcome for process customer contact. So basically what it means is that we have a process customer contact. It can have two results. Either customer, you contact the customer, either customer is interested in the product, so then you create a customer, then you create a customer inquiry will be created, or the customer is not interested, so the event, which basically represents an state, remember that we defined the event. The event would be customer contact not successful, okay? So that means that we have a situation that only one of the situation, or one of the two option can happen. That both of them together cannot happen. Means that this is an XOR logical connection. XOR means that a situation which basically there is more than one result, or there is more than one input. So it can be either more than one output or more than one input. And in that case, only one of these can happen. They cannot happen together. So logically, they cannot happen together. So it means that here, out of this function, we have to put an XOR connector, and then we put the two events. Okay, one customer inquiry defined, the other one customer contact not successful. It makes sure that as a result of this function, only one of them for each case can happen. Okay, this is very important. And also, it follows that, still following that event function, event sequence. Now, so this is basically for this. And then I will also explain the next one, and then I'll leave the rest for you. It says that in case no customer contact exists, so see, now we can have another initial event, because here we start with an event called customer contact exists. It says that in case we can have another case which we don't have any contact from the customer, a new customer inquiry received can trigger process customer inquiry. Process customer inquiry was explained here. It says that as a part of the customer, when the customer shows an interest, and basically that event, customer inquiry defined event, was created, it then triggers the process customer inquiry, meaning that this should go to the process customer inquiry. So basically you could have a direct line here, but then here in the next line it adds that in case no customer contact exists, a new customer inquiry received, which is a new state, new customer inquiry received, okay, can trigger process customer inquiry. So basically means that this also can trigger process customer inquiry. And because these two are, they don't have any overlap. Basically, these two, only one of them can happen. Either you have the customer contact or you don't have the customer contact, okay? And both, under different scenarios, can result in process customer inquiry. Either you have the customer contact or you have received this new inquiry from a new customer. Okay, both cases, the inquiry of the customer will be processed. So then if you have a direct line here, you should remove that. you should put again another XOR, because again these are two situations, two lines of logic that only one of them can happen. Only and only one of them can happen. The two cannot happen together. Remember, and means both should happen or both must happen. XOR means only and only one can happen, or means at least one can happen. So basically, or gives you this option that either one or both or all can happen. Here, because these are that logically cannot happen together, only one of them must happen, both cannot happen, you need to reflect this logic in your business process model. And that's the job of the XOR. Okay, so you put the XOR here, and these two events go into XOR and then connects to the function, meaning that only one and one of them can happen, which basically this can be resulted for each case. And basically that's logically correct. All right. Remember, business process model is a representation of the reality. So basically, we are defining the reality. So when we simulate it, it simulates the real world. That's what we are doing. That's why it is important to capture these logics accurately, and then move on with completing. One thing to note is that when you complete this, you will not add these organization units. This organization unit will be added in another exercise, and because I've done it completely, I've added this model. So at the end of the exercise 9, you will have everything that is here, okay, except this organization units that are connected to the functions. You will not have these orange ones. And when it is complete, make sure you save it. Again, right click, export as a graphic, entire graphic, same thing, and insert it into a Word file as the response for exercise 9. Okay. Now, what we need to do, basically this process is a sub-process of sales in our VICD. Okay, that sales function that we had there, this is the sub-process. This is the first level below that. Okay, so in other words, if you want to say what is that sales, okay, this is that sales. So what we want to do, we want to connect these. In other words, we call it assign in ARIS. We want to assign this to that function, sales function within VICD. So whenever we see the VICD, we see this connection, we see this assignment. So we can click on it and we can come into this sub process and see it. And also whenever we run it, for example, in a simulation, ARIS understand that, okay, this is the process for the sales, so it runs this process too. And if there are other processes connected to these, those will be run as well. Other sub-processes will run as well. So we get a more accurate understanding and statistics of the performance of the process. So in order to do that, what you need to do, in case, let's assume in the demo we created this cell, but it is empty because I didn't keep anything. Let me just put one thing here, just make sure I have something there, and I'm going to show you how to basically do the assignment. Let me close this because I've already done the assignment in the previous one, so I need to do it here. So open the VICD. This is for exercise 10. Open the VICD, go to sales, right click, and go to assignments. Okay. And then let me just make sure that I'm not making a mistake. I think we have to go with the new yes. So go to this, right click on it, go to new. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. That shows a list of the assignment. Go to new, go to assignment. Here it asks you what type of assignment. The assignment is the ARIS model. Whatever we are creating is an ARIS model. It's not a UML, it's an ARIS model. So create this an ARIS, click on the ARIS model. One thing you need to mention is that the assignment is an existing model because you have already created it. And it's taking a little bit of a time. Let me just do it again. Right click, new, assignment, ARIS model, existing model. Okay. Then each model you want to assign, basically you can select the type. It's an EPC. Then click next. It brings you all of the things that you have. So you just need to go onto the folder, the right folder. Remember, that's why we put them in the different folders. Give them the structure because now it's easier to find. So we select the sales process that we have created. Click on finish. See this icon, this little icon is created here. This little icon is basically the connection between these two. Now, if I double click on this, it will take me to sales processes. See, this is the sales process. I don't have the complete thing here, but this is the sales process. So now the system understand, and also when you look at VACD, you understand that, okay, this is the sales function and this is the sub process. Basically, if you want to see the details of the sales, okay, you need to go to this EPC, and this EPC has the details of the sales process and the details of the sales. This is basically the result of exercise 10. What you need to do for exercise 10, you need to again save a picture, a graphic export of the VACD after adding this. So I just want to see this icon here. So after adding it and this icon has been created here, make sure you save it. It's important. Save it. Then write export as a graphic, same procedure included in the Word file for exercise 10. Now, for exercise 11 is basically now adding the organization units into the EPC, the sales process EPC that you just created. Those orange ones that I told you was not part of it, they are added on in exercise 11. In order to do that, again, let me go to this, and let me just add one function just to show you how to create. Oh, I'm sorry, a mistake. It should go from event to that. Yep, okay. I just want to show you one thing about that process, that how to create that. I have shown already, but just to make sure. So here, it's a different sales team, for example, Germany carries out the process. It tells you that, okay, which organization unit is responsible for which of those functions within the sales processes. Now we want to say that sales team Germany is one of the organization units that you created in the process customer, in the organizational chart. It carries out the process customer contact function. This is one of the functions within the sales process, and all the other functions, there are 3-4 other functions that should be processed, should be carried out by order processing Germany. So this is another organization that you have already created in the organization chart. So if you open the organization chart, let me open it for you to show you. Where is it? Here it is. So you see we have sales team Germany, order processing Germany. These are the two. So now what we want to do, actually, you know what? I can show you. Yes, I can show you on the main one. So I just delete one and add this for you so that you can see. So now I just will do for one of them, and again the rest you can do. I've already, I think, shown you how to do this. Let me just remove this and add it again. Let's assume that I'm going to add it for this one. So sales team Germany is basically the organization responsible for this function. What you need to do, you need to open both diagrams, the sales process EPC and the organization chart. Select sales team Germany, copy this, go to sales process EPC, okay, right click. Remember, again, we have to use the occurrence copy, only and only an occurrence copy when we have the organization unit already. Unless this is a new organization unit that we don't have it anywhere else, so then we have to create a new copy of it. Occurrence copy, put it here, select these, go to the function, so basically select the connector, connect it to the function, and select carries out. See? Now, sales team Germany carries out the process customer contact. Similar thing, but with a different organization unit, order processing Germany. Order processing Germany is the other one, right below it. Okay, you need to copy that, okay, and can create, just paste several of it. And as you can see, it has mentioned several different times, order processing Germany, order processing Germany, order processing Germany. Does that mean that these are different copies or different objects? No, these are the same objects. In fact, these are not new objects. These are the repetition of this object, and not a duplicate, just the re-showing it, okay, in this model. So that's the idea of the occurrence copy. Now do this, save it for exercise 11. Right click, export as a graphic. Same thing, save it there, put it in the Word file. Now I'm going to explain this one quickly as well, and then the rest basically is very similar to this one. In the exercise 12 to exercise 13, what is going to happen is that for three of these functions. I believe for the process customer inquiry, is that right? Let me just check it here. Make sure I'm telling the right thing to you. Yes, for, well, yes, for three of them. I believe it is for process customer inquiry, process customer offer, and process customer order. These are the three functions in the sales process EPC. We want to create another level of sub-processes. So basically, we want to explain what is this function and show the sub-processes for this function that represents this specific function. Okay, and for this specific function, and this specific function, and then we want to assign them to this function. So basically, as you can see, I've assigned them one of them here already. Okay, because again, I've completed the assignment in land. So when you double click on it, you can see those functions. Now let's just do it for the process customer offer. I believe this one, yes, this one is the exercise 12 is for the process customer offer. So for these, similar to what you did for the sales processes, you need to create an EPC. Okay, so what you need to do first, you need to create this within the sales processes group. So, and what you want to call it customer offer function. Sorry, process customer often. So customer offer processing. So basically, what you can do is you can go to the sales processes. It might be a little bit different here, as I've explained. You can follow that as well, or you can simply go to sales processes, as you can see it here. Just right click on the sales process, because this is the folder we want to save it. Model, EPC. Okay. Give it the name. I have it already here. Process customer offer, and then click on finish. It creates it. It basically creates a new tab for you, where you can model the EPC. Let me close this. Close this. Okay. Well, I already have it here because I've already done it. But then, based on this explanation, what you need to do, you need to create this this EPC. When you are done, okay, save it, and just right-click, export as a graphic. One thing that is extra here, basically a couple of things. One is that first you can see more than just organization unit attached to its function. You can see the data model that have been attached. Okay, you see this cluster here. Basically, it allows you to create data model. You can simply click and create the data model that have been explained in the text. Okay, for each function. And also you can see those systems. You remember that we create those IT systems. You can see these IT systems here. Let me make this look a little bit better. Yeah. You can see these IT systems here. In order to bring these IT systems similar to the organization unit, what you need to do, don't create it from scratch again. Go to open the IT system. Here you go. Okay, whichever that you need, just copy it. Okay. Go to this your EPC as you are creating your EPC. Okay, right click and then occurrence copy. Well, because I think I can create another one. Yes, occurrence copy and then connect it to the function. This is what I have done here. And same thing for the other IT systems. For the data model, we don't have a data model. We haven't created it, I believe. So it's okay to just create it here if you want. And this is one difference, which is an additional. It's easy to understand. The other thing is that you are asked not only to create the EPC and do this connection, organization unit, and so on. You also asked to enter some attributes, basically the average processing time as an attribute for the functions. These things are necessary whenever you want to simulate a model. We are not going to do simulation, but we want to understand how we insert the attributes, so that when we want to run the business process model and the simulation follows the reality. So basically, they have collected the data, and these are the functionalities that if you complete this exercise 12 in creating this EPC, this would be the functionalities that you will have here. As you can see, it's a rather longer. It might take a little bit of time, and then it has given you some values for the different functions in terms of the average processing time. Let me show you how to do this, how to insert these. One thing to do is that because these are for different functions, what you can do is you can insert all of them at once. Instead of just going to attributes, you have to go to the attributes menu. And instead of going to attributes menu of each of them one at a time, which may take a lot of time, you can select all together all of the functions. And then in one screen, ARIS shows you all these functions, then you can insert in one screen all these different attributes. What you can do, what you need to do is you need to go to select, where is this select one? Select option. You select you pick this all of these type. Basically select all of these. That means that select all of the functions, because you were right clicking on a function and you pick select all of these type. It select all of the functions in the EPC. As you can see, all of them are selected. Then just right click on one of them, right click, and then click on attributes. It takes a little bit of time. Here you go. It opens up the attributes. Attributes menu is where you insert all the details and information about the functions or events specifically required when you want to do the simulation. In the second assignment, ARIS assignment, you will see we work a lot with attributes because we want to simulate the business process. Now here we just learn how to insert these attributes. So in the attributes, there is one folder called time. Just open this folder and just click on, because the attribute that we want to insert are the processing times, average processing time. Just click on the processing time. See, it shows you the different options for the processing time. Average processing time, minimum processing time, maximum processing time. What we have information for is average processing time. And here, if you scroll, it has a list of all those functions that have been selected, that were selected. We don't have the information for all of them. We will have only information for some of them. And what you need to do is you need to insert this information as we mentioned here. For example, for copying query data into offer, which is one of copying query data into offer is one of the functions, we want to insert 7 minutes. Okay. What you need to do, let me remove it because this would be the thing that you will see. So it would be empty as first. Just double click, put 7, and from this drop down, you need to select the unit of time. The unit of time is minute for all of them. So you keep minutes. Unit of time, the possible unit of time goes from second all the way to years. When you do that, one thing to note, save it. Make sure you save it. If you don't save it, it will be lost. Okay, then close it. Okay, and one thing you can see is that this 7 minutes, if you want to see it, this is another attribute you have added in addition to the label that you have given to the function. Now there is a second attribute, which is the time that we just entered. And if you want to see that time on the figure on this EPC, let me just bring this down in order to make it a little bit more visible. Okay, see here, the 7 minutes has been shown here because I've set it to be shown. Now what you need to do is, again, you can go to these, select all of these types, so it selects all of the functions. Right click on one of them. This time go to properties. Last time we went to attributes. This time go to properties. Go to attribute placement. Make sure that the average processing time is selected. And then here you select the area that you want it to be shown. For example, if you want it to be shown on the top right corner, just select these. You just have to make sure that that one is checked. Okay. And then click on OK. And then you will see these 7 minutes, 15 minutes, 4 minutes showing next to the function on the top right corner. And then make sure you save your EPC. When you have done all these, right click, export as a graphic, put it in your Word file as the response to exercise 12. Same thing you need to do for the other two. And one thing to note, by the way, is that you also will need to assign these. Let me open the sales process again. What you need to do, you need to go to that function, right click, new assignment, ARIS model, an existing one, it's an EPC, and then process customer offer, click on finish. I'm not going to click it, I've already done it. And then you see this little icon here that basically connects, assign that's EPC to this, basically meaning that this is the sub process for this function. Double click on it, it opens it up for you. Now you need to repeat the same thing, similar process for in exercise 13 and exercise 14 for the other two functions, for the custom process customer inquiry and for process customer order, I believe. And basically what you will have is something similar to this. Okay, so you have job description, and so the rest of the thing that you will be asked to do, there are the things that you have already completed, you should be familiar with, and you will be something similar to this one. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Say something similar to this one, and something similar to this one. That based on the description, these are the EPCs that you need to create, and then assign all of them, assign each of them to the function related to them in the sales process. That is basically what you need to do for each of them. Make sure after you complete, save, again right click, export as a graphic, and then put it in the Word file for that exercise. So that would be then for exercise 13 and then 14, and that would be the end of the assignment. I hope you enjoy and also you learn how to work with ARIS and how to create a business process model. You also get a better feeling of what's the business process model, why is it important, how it connects all these different parts of the organization with each other, and why basically it is such an important part of the organizational practice and modeling the organizational practice. Okay, thank you very much.